Hello and welcome to the Chrissy B Show, the UK's only TV programme that focuses on mental health and well-being. Today's show is all about our skin. Now, most of us love the sunshine, and sunlight in moderation is really good for us physically and mentally. But if it's overdone, it can lead to all sorts of discomfort and medical issues such as skin cancer. And of course, if you are battling an illness, this can also affect your mental state. So this show is all about being safe in the sun, taking care of your skin, spotting and dealing with signs of skin cancer, and also how to look your best in the hotter weather. My guests today include our very own Dr Rob Hicks, who'll be talking about safety in the sun, and he'll also be speaking about the mental benefits of sunshine. We also have Dr Anton Alexandroff, consultant dermatologist, to talk about how skin cancer develops and what to do about it, and one of his patients, Anthony Nicholls, to talk about his experience with skin cancer. We have a beauty juice that is great for your skin with Hannah Richards, and makeup expert Theresa Maegan Gregoire talks about the kinds of beauty products that are great to use in the summer. And I'll be sharing 7 things that can make you a sunnier person. But first, let's go to Dr Rob Hicks to talk about simple ways to protect your skin in the hotter weather, be it in the UK or abroad. Hello, Rob.
Hi, Chrissy.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah.
You enjoying the sunshine?
Enjoying the weather.
Yes.
Protecting my skin, obviously.
Good, good. So tell us, you're going to be talking about things that everybody should know about protecting their skin. Some are, I would say, for most people, it's quite obvious, but other things not so obvious. So can you take us through step by step?
Yeah, I think most of it is common sense and obvious. What's important is to remember to do it. Yeah. So, you know, when it is sunny, to remember that you need to cover up, because, you know, even in cloudy weather, the UV radiation can get through and can damage the skin and cause it to become reddened and sunburned and very, very irritated. And it's not just the soreness that's the problem. Of course, damaged skin means that you're more likely to develop a skin cancer, and that's the last thing we want anybody to develop. So, you know, it's about having a checklist, really, and ticking off that checklist if you're going to go out in the sunny weather. And, you know, there's a range of things that most of us have lying around the house, or that you know, we can cobble together to protect ourselves, and we've got some of them here. So obviously, you know, before you go out, you know, 30 minutes before you go out, put on your sunscreen, and make sure you apply it on a regular basis throughout the day. So every couple of you know, of hours, really, particularly if you've gone in the sea or in a swimming pool where it might get washed off, or if you're sweating a lot, again, it might get washed off.
So every 2 hours is sufficient then?
Yeah, so choose something that, you know, that works for you. And it might be as a cream, it might be as a lotion, it might be as a spray. And, you know, I know for the children, sometimes they have coloured ones that makes it a little bit more fun and actually makes it less of a chore for the parents having to put it on. So that's the important thing with sunscreen. And then, of course, there's no one thing that protects the whole body. So just because you're diligent with the sunscreen doesn't necessarily mean that you can't still fall prey to the UV radiation. So a cap, start at the top, think about a cap. This is not a bad starting point, but as you'll see, there's a fair amount of gap there. So you want one really that's got a peak, it's covered. Ideally, it might even have a flap at the back, because what people do is they put the cap on so the scalp is protected and the face is protected to a degree, but the back of the neck gets burned. So maybe get one with a flap, or ideally, again, another option is a wide brim. So it not only covers the scalp, but also it covers the rest of the face and the neck as well. And you can get them now that actually have UV protection built into them. So, you know, I know it might be, you know, 30, might be a 50 UV protection in the material.
Oh, that's good.
But again, it's not about relying on it. You mustn't be lulled into a false sense of security. Oh, I've got my hat, it says it's got UV protection, I don't need to do anything else. Think about your hands, think about other parts of your body as well. Okay. So one of the other things, of course, is sunglasses. And nowadays there's a huge range of shades that you can buy. Ideally, you want sunglasses that wrap around. So if you look at these, for example, you put those on. Why don't you pop those on?
That's the kind I've got actually.
Yeah, so
they're not good.
No, you'll see that they to a degree they're giving you protection from the front, but you can see that the light could be creeping in around the side, or
That's
even
true.
reflecting on the inside and bouncing. So think carefully about that. But again, the most important thing is that you wear them.
Yeah.
Rather than say, well, these are not the best, therefore I'm not going to bother at all. And most people nowadays, you don't have any excuse going to buy a pair of shades. I mean, everybody wants to look good and wants to look cool. So get yourself a nice pair of shades and make sure they keep them handy. What else can we do? Well, nowadays, of course, there's a huge range of clothing as well. Whenever I go into the sea or to the beach, I'm wearing shorts that come down to my knees and a t-shirt which has, I don't know how exactly it works, but it's got UV protection. So mine is UV 50 because I've got very fair skin, very light skin.
Do you burn easily then?
I burn very, very easily. And actually I've got the most amazing collection of moles. So I have to be very, very careful. And I was a bit careless, primarily through ignorance when I was a teenager. When I was growing up, we thought that a good dose of sun was very healthy.
No sunscreen.
No sunscreen, and a tan was healthy. Of course, I've learnt over the years, and we've all learned over the years, that a tan means that the skin is damaged. So it's not healthy. If you're going to get a tan, then fake it.
Okay. Which we'll be talking about later, by the way, with Megan. Yeah.
And then, of course, the other thing to think about, really, within hot weather, is it's very, very important to protect the skin. But don't forget, you get dehydrated as well, and sweating actually is one of the contributory factors to removing the sunscreen that you've put on. That just washes it off. So think about making sure you drink plenty of water. Now, ideally, in a normal day, we'd be drinking around about 2 litres of water a day. But if you're very active in the hot weather, or the weather's a lot hotter than you're used to, then you need to be drinking far more. I mean, the sort of rule of thumb is that if you start to feel thirsty at all, you're already to a degree dehydrated. So, and the other thing you can do is to look at the colour of your pee. So ideally it would be a sort of light straw colour. If it's a dark yellowy colour, then it's too concentrated, you've not got enough fluid on board.
What if it's clear?
If it's clear, you're probably a little bit overhydrated, but you're at the right, you're at the better end of the spectrum.
Okay, so it's not good to be dark.
Yeah. So have a look online, have a look at the cards. You can get P cards actually, which will tell you the different colours. And not that you have to learn them. I wouldn't be too detailed in practicing with them, but make sure you just recognise it's a practical thing to do. But the key thing is if you start to feel thirsty, you're already partly dehydrated. Okay.
And Rob, what if you maybe forgotten your sunscreen and you do end up burning yourself? What should the person do then?
Well, burnt skin, as I speak from experience, is incredibly uncomfortable. It's itchy and it burns and it feels painful quite often. So you want a nice soothing cream that you can apply.
Anything you'd recommend?
I think again a moisturiser that people use for eczema is very, very good. Something that's got oatmeal in it is very, very good because not only is it moisturising, but it's got the oatmeal which takes away the itch. Aloe vera gel, very, very good. If you're abroad and if there's aloe vera around, you can crack it open, get the gel. And massage that on. Essentially, it's whatever works for you, and you'll again the thing is to have it available. You don't want to be left with sunburn and then think, oh, I need to go to the pharmacy to get some, or go to the supermarket. Make it part of your holiday or your day out pack. So you've got your sunscreen, you've got your hat, you've got your sunglasses, you've got plenty of water, and you've got the after sun, the sort of skincare relief afterwards. If it's blistering, you need to get to A&E really, because it's a significant burn, and you may need rehydrating, and you may need more specialist care. But thankfully, with the sun awareness messages, I think the number of people suffering that degree of sunburn, I haven't seen a person for many years with that. But you see plenty.
Unless you fall asleep in the sun, obviously. Well, some people do.
Absolutely, and it's very, very easy. You see people with vests on. And you just see the chest going red, you see their arms going red, you look behind and there's this big sort of U shape where the back has got burned. and they're going to really, you're going to really feel it later on in the day if that's the case. So we say it all the time in health, prevention is better than cure.
It just reminds me of some holidays in Cyprus. For some reason, my uncles and my male cousins thought it hilarious when you've got sunburn to actually slap you as well at the same time. No. So it was very, very painful. It was horrible. I used to get burnt all the time and then get slapped as well. So
well, I held my hand up. I've fallen asleep on the beach, with my arm up behind my head. And believe me, being burnt under the arm is really,
you poor thing walking around like that.
You walk around. But again, the other thing to add is that sun lamps, tanning beds are a no-no as far as the skin are concerned. Okay. The damage will still get done, and they're associated with skin cancer as well. Again, to reiterate, if you need to have a tan, fake it. Use one of the products that can give you the tan, but without damaging the skin in the process. Okay. Skin's a very, very, very important organ of the body. It's the largest organ in the body, and it's got many different jobs. It helps maintain correct body temperature. It's also involved in helping us to actually protect our body. So we want to keep that protection strong by not allowing it to get damaged.
Okay. Now, Rob, I'm not going to let you go. Thank you very much for the information you've given us already.
Pleasure.
But you are going to help us a bit more later on to talk about the benefits of sunshine for our mental health, because yes, sunshine can be dangerous, sunshine can be dangerous, but also it can be really good for us.
We need a healthy dose.
Yes, a healthy dose. All right, guys, so we will have Rob back with us also after the break, actually, because we have Dr Anton Alexandroff returning to our studios, and he's a consultant dermatologist, and he'll be talking about how skin cancer develops and what to do about it. And also we'll be joined by one of his patients, Anthony Nicholls, to talk about his experience with the condition. Welcome back to today's program, everyone, which is all about sunshine and how to have protection from it, but also how to get the benefits from it for your mental health. And joining me now, I have Dr Anton Alexandroff, who's back with us again. So you've been on before, Anton, talking about some other skin conditions, but now we're going to be talking about skin cancer.
Great.
And we still have Dr Rob Hicks with us as well. So first of all, Anton, tell us about skin cancer, the stats, the information that we need to know.
Skin cancer is very important. Unfortunately, we see a lot of it as skin doctors. There are two main types of skin cancer. One is melanoma, which is cancerous moles. Another we call non-melanoma skin cancer, which is more common but less dangerous. Okay. So melanomas are quite serious. These are cancerous moles. Cancerous mole may develop in normal skin, or normal, what we call benign moles, may become cancerous moles. Okay. And in general terms, we like moles to be symmetrical in shape, color, and general border. Okay. But if moles are not symmetrical, that's a sign that they might not be normal. And we like patients, if they think that they're not normal, come and see a GP or a skin doctor. Okay. The other type of skin cancers, we call it non-melanoma skin cancer, more common. So just for comparison, we have about 13,000 of melanomas diagnosed every year in the United Kingdom. Majority of patients do very well because we find out about these skin cancers very early and diagnose them very early, and therefore we can cure patients, and majority of people don't have problems. But unfortunately, about 2,000 patients, 1 in 5, still die from melanomas. Which is a great number. The other type of skin cancer is non-melanoma skin cancer. We also call them the most common basal cell carcinoma or rodent ulcer. Not dangerous, but can be disfiguring, and they present as lumps which change over a period of weeks, may bleed and traumatize easily. So if you have something unusual, or your mole look different, or it changes, it's a good idea to come and see your doctor.
And just a question, because obviously if a mole is somewhere, or you have moles where you can't actually see them, say if they're on your back,
yes,
and if you're kind of dependent on seeing the differences, you might not notice, but are there other symptoms apart from the way moles look to indicate that it might be a problem there?
We generally don't like when moles irritate, so if they consistently bleed or irritate, it's probably a good idea to check them out. Okay. But what we generally recommend is that everybody checks their body skin, I mean, once a month. It's a bit meticulous and it's a bit difficult, and people forget about this, but this is what we recommend. And of course, it's difficult to look at your own back, so it's advisable to get somebody to check your back once a month.
Okay, right. Now, Anton, we also have one of your patients, actually, don't we, on Skype joining us. We have Anthony Nicholls with us. Hi, Anthony.
Hi there.
Thanks for joining us.
That's okay.
So tell us about your experience with this, Anthony, because it's something that you've actually been going through yourself.
That's right, yeah. Well, I'm a very moly person, and I have been all my life. I'm a child of the 60s, so obviously my parents weren't too diligent with the sun cream, and I can remember having sunstroke on many occasions. But probably 10, 12 years ago, I had a red mark. I wouldn't call it a mole as such, but it was itching and it was bleeding, so I went to the GP with it. And I was referred to a specialist dermatologist who, well, basically they took it off and did a biopsy on it. But it proved not to be malignant, which was good, but in view of the fact of the rest of the moles on my back, I was up to a repeat inspection, if you like, every 6 months. I had a series of photographs taken in unflattering poses, as per that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, then I have to do basically a visual inspection every 6 months before I go and see Dr Alexandroff. And if there's any abnormalities, any changes, obviously I point them out to him and he inspects them and advises whether they need to come off or not. So far I've had 5 removed, 2 have proved to be malignant, and I'm waiting for a procedure on another one to be removed.
Okay.
Because that's basically grown at an alarming rate over the last 6 months, so yeah.
But the fact, I mean, it's good that you actually spotted the problem and
yeah,
went to do
it's very
something
strange
about it.
actually, because some moles actually disappear, some reappear. Yeah, it is very strange. But yeah, the ones I've spotted, they are symmetrical. They don't look cancerous at all, but they just appear from nowhere. So actually it's best to get them checked out.
And just to ask Anton a question here, because you did mention about moles, but as Anthony's saying, it wasn't even a mole that he noticed, it was just like a redness. So that's another sign then.
Well, it was a mole. Sometimes moles may look as red spots.
Oh,
so
okay, that's good to know.
Not necessarily brown, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but we diagnosed you, in your case it was very early diagnosis, so it was very good.
Which was,
yeah.
And how, talk us through some of the procedures that that Anthony's telling us about. So is it just like you just remove the whole mole if you see an issue?
What you see a dermatologist, we would examine skin, and we will also examine suspicious lesion with equipment called dermatoscope.
Yeah.
This is kind of a special magnifying equipment which allows us to look slightly deeper into the skin and see distribution of pigment. This is especially helpful for moles and melanomas, but might be helpful for other type of lesions as well. And then if it still looks suspicious, we actually would cut out the mole and look under microscope to see if it's normal or not normal.
Okay. And Anthony, how are you keeping yourself positive through this? Because obviously it must be quite scary, but how do you kind of keep
It's like a black cloud really that comes and goes. You forget about it for a couple of months and then you realise that there's an appointment approaching, so you do a bit of an inspection and then you hope for the best. But yeah, as I say, I'm waiting for another procedure now, so
yeah.
Fingers crossed it's nothing too, hopefully it's not melanoma.
And what about the way that you protect yourself in the sun now? Has that changed quite drastically? Or do you go out in the sun still? Or?
You may say the horse is bolted, but yeah, factor 50, never take my t-shirt off, I wear a hat, yeah, shorts down to my knees, yeah, proper Englishman abroad.
What would you say to, especially I suppose the youngsters that kind of love to get their tans, sort of show off their bodies and stuff like that? What message would you give to them since the stuff that you've been through?
Yeah, go for the fake tan every time.
Which is what you were saying, Rob.
I've got quite a fair complexion, so I burn very easily. And as daft as it sounds, if I've not got enough sun cream on, I can actually feel myself burning.
Really?
You can tell. you can tell.
Okay.
So yeah, you must put plenty of sun cream on. It's very important.
Okay. Anthony, thank you so much for that.
Welcome.
And I'm sure, you know, it's raised awareness for many people. Thank you. And all the best with the treatment.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
So, Rob, yeah, you mentioned the fake tan there. It's sort of very important. Because I know, you know, you're young, you want to go out, you want to get tan, you want to look good.
And the reality is that, you know, people do feel better when they've got a tan. But as we've discussed before, that the tan is simply the fact that the skin is damaged. And nowadays gone are the days when if you put on a fake tan you get streaks of orange and you smell like old cabbage.
Yeah, pretty good nowadays, don't
you know,
they?
there are much better preparations available. But I think, you know, one of the important things that, you know, that Anthony mentioned is that it's never too late to protect your skin.
Yeah.
You know, even for somebody who's already gone through melanoma, you know, twice,
Absolutely.
that you don't want to risk further problems. And I look back to a patient I used to look after many years ago she came in absolutely terrified that she'd got melanoma, and we referred her to a dermatologist and the mole was removed, and thankfully it wasn't melanoma. You know what she said to me? I'm so thrilled, I'm going to celebrate with 2 weeks in the sun.
Oh, goodness.
And I had to stop her there and I said, let's sit down and go back a few weeks to how you were when you came to see me. Do you remember that? And she said, yes. I don't think going in the sun is a very good idea, do you? And I was really quite strict with her because, you know, I said, you know, you've got away with it once.
Yeah,
you may not be so lucky next time round. And thankfully she listened and everything was fine. But people do respond in this quite bizarre way. You know, they've got away with something, therefore it can't happen to them. And you mentioned young people, they often think that, oh, well, skin cancer is something that older people get. But actually, many people in their 20s.
Oh, yeah, about the stats.
So in fact, melanoma is most common cancer in 20s, 30s, 40s. Although the risk is increases as people get older. And most people actually older, but among young people, it's actually very common, comparable to other cancers.
So those are two really important things that I've picked up today. Is the age thing as well, that it's mostly younger generation, but also the thing about the spots, like it doesn't have to, something that you might think is just a spot is actually a mole that's been affected. That's something that was really important.
Yeah, I think if it looks odd, it's persistently troublesome, if it changes over a period of weeks, I think it's a good idea to check this out. But the most important, which people I think forget time and time, is self-examination of the skin on monthly basis.
And actually there are a few tips. If you don't have anybody who can examine your back for you, and the back is a very common place, isn't it, for these to appear, these are one of the benefits of smartphones and selfie sticks. Is actually you can now get a shot. And nowadays I'll see people who have actually taken a picture of the mole and said, look, this is what it was like a month ago, this is what it's like now. And in some hospitals around the UK, you can have what's called mole monitoring, where the picture goes onto the computer and it will tell you how it's changing. So there's no excuse, is there, as you say, for not keeping an eye on these things. And nobody minds in medicine if it turns out to be normal.
Oh, absolutely. We're delighted that it's normal.
So you won't be wasting the doctor's time by going along. Much better to go along and be told it's normal than to put it off and find that actually the problem with malignant melanoma is it spreads. It goes throughout.
Well, the thing is that if you catch it very early, there is minimal risk, if any, for the spreading. As we get thicker and more advanced, there is increased risk of spreading in the future. So the earlier we catch them, the better. But it's quite alarming statistics, because if you look back to 70s, the number of melanomas increased about 3-4 times in 70s. So I think it's a culture change. I think we need to address this.
Definitely, which we're doing today on the show, which is really good. Just one final thing, I know we need to go to break. But Rob, you mentioned earlier that, you know, some people, they can still burn even though, like, maybe it's a hazy day, it's cloudy. So maybe there are people that won't even bother going to get checked out because they say, well, I've not actually been out in the sun, so I can't have anything wrong. There's no risk of skin cancer because I haven't been sort of sunbathing. But you can still be affected, can't you, even just by sort of walking outside, or can you?
Yeah, the most important thing is to keep an eye, as Anton was saying, about either existing moles that are changing, and whether that's in the shape, the size, the border, no longer being regular, but becoming irregular, or as you say, itching, bleeding, feeling uncomfortable. But also if you develop a new mole as well that wasn't there before, keep a very good eye on that. But you can go out on a hazy day, on a cloudy day, and still get enough UV to damage the skin. So it's and we'll talk about this later. It is a balance. Yeah, there is a balance. We can't just wrap ourselves up indoors and never go out in the sun. Otherwise, we'd be very miserable.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're going to talk about this.
Vitamin D is important as well.
And we're going to be talking about that later.
We will be. Anton, thank you so much for joining us again today. It's been brilliant to have you on again, and great advice that you've given us today. And Rob, I'm going to keep you on because we're talking about the mental benefits of sunshine. All right. So guys, don't go away because we do have more for you after this break. Hi, I'm Chrissy B, and my show is all about improving your mental health and being happy. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. on my channel Sky 203. Visit chrissybshow.tv for more information and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Chrissy B Show. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chrissy B Show and on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Welcome back everyone to our show all about the benefits of sunshine but also the dangers, and I still have me Dr Rob Hicks. So I hope we haven't scared everyone from not wanting to go outside and not getting enough sunshine, because there are benefits to it as well. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, there are huge benefits of it from a healthy dose of sunshine. One of course is that the way that we make vitamin D in the body is actually in the skin in response to sunlight.
Right.
So, and we need vitamin D to help absorb calcium, because we need calcium for strong bones and healthy teeth. And vitamin D is involved in other things as well. So it's involved in muscles performance too. So sunshine is good, but we need the right dose of it. Now in the UK, it's between March and October that there's enough UV radiation to generate vitamin D in the skin. From October to March, so over the late autumn, winter time, there isn't enough. So you're not going to, when you're outside, you're not going to be making any vitamin D in the skin.
Oh, okay.
So it's the 6-month crucial period. Now that doesn't mean you go out sunbathing. So for somebody who's
can't stock up on it, right?
No. Somebody's got light skin like myself.
Yeah.
So needs only about 10 to 15 minutes a day, uncovered, and that means forearms and hands or lower legs. That's all you need uncovered to generate the vitamin D, and obviously not with sunscreen, because otherwise the sunlight won't be able to get through. Yeah. People with darker skin need longer, so it may be an hour or more that they need. And the best part of the day is actually the 11 o'clock in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's the time we generally tell people to find the shade, because that's when the rays are at their strongest.
Right.
Now, the key thing is, how long do you stay? Well, you don't stay as long as it takes to get red or burned. So long as you're out there and not getting red, then the balance will be you'll be making enough vitamin D without doing.
So let me just get it straight. So you'll go out without the sunblock for a while, for whatever,
right.
like
let's say 10-15 minutes,
or
and the sun will hit the forearms and
then if you're going to stay out longer, then you start putting sun.
Okay, right.
Yeah. Okay.
But this is just just a short period each day to generate the vitamin D.
Okay.
The other thing that people find with conditions like psoriasis, for example, is that actually they find that their psoriasis improves when they're exposed to sunlight. But you have to dive in and say, but don't use that as a reason to go sunbathing or getting too much exposure. Generally speaking, with psoriasis, when people are using UV treatments, it's supervised by a consultant dermatologist to make sure it's the right dose and for the right period of time, and again that the benefits outweigh any potential risks. There's also some emerging research that suggests that some sunlight might help to lower blood pressure as well. But what we mustn't forget, and what's very, very important, is the emotional benefit of sunshine. And what does sunshine do? Well, it helps, the daylight helps release a chemical called serotonin, which is the chemical that makes us feel good. You know, it lifts our spirits, it lifts our mood, it helps us to feel more alert. It lessens our anxiety and it lessens our depression.
Okay.
It's the hormone actually there's not enough around when people are depressed, and it's why in wintertime.
Yeah, what do you do in winter then between October
that's why they have SOD, is
Yeah.
because they're not getting enough of the sunlight exposure. So again, and we've talked about this, haven't we, that, you know, in the sunshine we naturally feel better. It's not just about the chemical process that's affecting our brains, it's actually we just feel better. And when we feel better, we're more likely to live a healthy lifestyle, we're more likely to make those changes that keep us healthy, we're more likely actually to maintain those changes. So from an emotional point of view, we do get a boost, don't we? I mean, you know, you see a miserable, rainy, cold day and you feel, but you see a nice sunny day and you feel lifted without any sort of effort whatsoever.
Yeah, but for people that sort of are, and we weren't really going to go into SAD now, but obviously, is there something that they can do to prepare, like for the darker?
Yeah, I mean, spend as much time outside, because what do we do in wintertime? We stay indoors. You know, you can sit near a window, so you're getting some more daylight exposure. You can go out for as much time as you can during the daylight hours. Some people benefit from the lamps. Yeah, with you know, the light therapy lamps. But somebody who's getting seasonal affective disorder every year, because you know it is seasonal, as the name says, they may want to speak to their doctor about actually having antidepressants, which they start 3 or 4 weeks before their season, so that their body's already prepared and they're less likely to suffer the symptoms.
Okay, brilliant, Rob. Thank you so much. Yeah. So there you go. There are benefits to sunshine.
There are loads of benefits to sunshine.
Just all in moderation, we'll say.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, and we'll see you again next time. Yeah. And guys at home, don't forget that Dr. Rob does actually do our doctor's orders section, which you can find on our YouTube channel, Chrissy B Show. So there's lots of different videos there talking about all types of medical conditions and advice from our good doctor here, and it's great. So you can actually subscribe to the playlist. So we'll see you on doctor's orders as well. Yeah. All right, guys, so now we have makeup expert Theresa Maegan Gregoire, who's talking about the kinds of beauty products that are great to use in the summer to make us look our best and safely as well.
So what we've done here is a nice, just bronzy, juicy, glossy eye. And that's something universally, any skin tone that would look great for the summer. So what we've done is we've just done a color sweep of a nice color, such as this one's called Vintage Selection, but just a nice bronzy coppery color that's just a cream base. And you can see just how gorgeous that is, you know, just light, fresh, moisturizing. And you don't want to have, you know, a bunch of powder on your face. When it's sunny out, you want to feel, like she said, you have a light base and some color, creams. So here's an example of a very sheer cream blusher. This is not the shade we used on her, but similar texture where you're just getting that sheen, that shine, that moisture. As you were saying, you know, the sun does have benefits, but it also has its detriments on our skin. And part of that is the moisture. So you want to put that moisture back into your skin from the very beginning. And so, you know, there's moisture sprays that when you're in festival season, this is a spray that is just a prep and prime fix from MAC, and you can just spray it and it can be a setting. So right now I just feel so refreshed, and on the neck as well. And basically you can moisturize your base before you put your makeup on, and you can also refresh your makeup with something like this when you want a little pick-me-up, and just do that.
And it's quite nice when it's hot and you just want something cool on your face.
Yes, absolutely. And with the sun beaming on your beautiful skin, you're going to be picking up, you know, all these little nice reflections in the color-based eyeshadow. So, you know, don't underestimate a bronzy, creamy shadow with all the deflectors and everything. You could put, you know, just a nice Vaseline gloss over your lips and it's going to look natural, because you don't want to have a matte lipstick for, you know, a festival or something like this. You can do, but you're probably more likely to smudge it or for it to, you know, be on your cheek or something like this. Whereas when you're doing something natural and you're just bringing out these kind of natural colors and have those kind of barely there products on, then it just makes it fresher and more natural and better for later when you look the same as when you started. So this is also something, it's called, Mineral Tinted Moisture by Aveda. This is actually what I'm going to get married in the summer. And it's very light. It smells so good as well. It's very light, and you can see it has like that nice kind of deflecting.
It doesn't even look like it's there.
Yeah, so it just has that nice sheen, and it's really good to have that in your cheeks. And so when if you do have to powder because you have an oily base, like you said, you know, you get oily in your T-zone, don't put powder all over your face. Just take some, I've got some, you know, Makeup Forever micro finish powder. I just literally put a little bit in my fingertips, and you just touch where on your face that you get the most oily, and then you still have that luscious, juicy cheek. You know, that everyone's wondering how, you know, you look so fresh in the summertime. Actually, you commented once, and I think it was the powder. I'm not sure. It could have been mine.
Because you're gorgeous.
Another thing though is that when you do have, you know, that heat and you've done your eyebrows nice, because eyebrows, you still are going to put some eyebrows on. You want to just secure it with a brow gel so that it just stays put all day. So that's another thing is, you know, if you ever notice you're going to the mirror and you kind of are going to the mirror and you're like, I'm going to fix my eyebrow hair, you know, why don't you just save yourself the time, put that brow gel in, and it just gives that clean lifting away from your face, opening your eyes, summer, just perfect look.
Okay.
A little talk about how we had a bronze look, dark skin. She's got nice, gorgeous dark skin. When you're wanting to tan and have that summer look, make sure that if you're picking a bronzer, I've got this bronzer that's for your face. There's actual bronzers for your face, bronzers that are for your body, but make sure when you apply that you have an application mitt and you're doing, you know, first of all, do a skin test because that could go wrong. So first of all, pick a part of your skin that you're going to, you know, be able to test out the product, and you're going to be able to see if you're going to have a reaction to it. When you're applying, you know, nice, even circular motions, especially in the face. And ladies, remember behind the ears, and that your face doesn't end at your chin. It actually goes into the neck. So, you know, make sure, because that's something too. It's like, yes, I've got this nice bronze look, but obviously my neck's a different color. So when you've got that tan already perfectly applied and it looks natural, you've also got to consider that now you have to look, if you're wearing products such as a foundation, that now you have the same shade as your skin, because that could go wrong. So there's lots of things and lots of products out there.
I feel like I should have brought a notebook with me.
Yes, make sure you're you're applying them with care. You've tested them out. They're not going to make you react, and just enjoy the sun.
Just a question, Megan. Tans, fake tans, are they in still? Because I know there was a massive trend for them.
You know,
there's still sort of
it's to your, I mean, different, as I learned when I've come here. I mean, Essex has a lot more probably tan than, you know, other places in London. But, you know, is a tan fashionable? Of course it is. A tan has a lot of benefits. It evens the skin. You know, it gets it's just like foundation. Really, you're getting that nice even glow, but also, you know, it's an attractive thing to have a nice bronzy glow. So, you know, when you are picking, you don't want to look orange. So is it fashionable? Absolutely, but you have to have it done correctly.
Okay.
So you really need, like I said, to be kind of researching, you know, if you're going to have a spray tan, there's lots of, you know, organic ways to do it. I'm against tanning beds because obviously they will cause damage to your skin. So, you know, you want to have the benefits of a tan. There's organic tans, spray tans, lotions. I would go that way. rather than, trying to, put some, cooking oil on your face and then just, with the reflecting tin and, obviously do it with keeping in mind that, that's going to look great for maybe a day or two, but then, you're going to have wrinkles, you're going to have possibly damage, which isn't so nice after if you don't take the organic route, or even a natural tan is great, but you're still going to get the tan with wearing SPF. So some people think if you wear sunblock that you're not going to be tan. That's not the case, actually. You're just protecting your skin, you're getting the tan, and so be cautious to actually protect your skin when you're getting that natural.
So thank you very much to Megan. So after the break, I'll be talking about my own tips on how to be a sunny person, and we also have a beauty juice that's great for the skin with Hannah Richards. Welcome back everyone to our show that's been all about the sunshine, what's good and what's not. And I do recommend that if you've missed the beginning of this program, that you do head over to our YouTube channel in a few days' time to watch the show there, because there have been some really important hints and tips on how to protect yourself and how to spot things like suspect moles that can actually be an indication of cancer. So now I'm going to be talking about something different, still related to sunshine, and that's actually giving tips on how to be a sunny person, because no one actually likes to be around a grumpy person. But the opposite is also true. Everyone loves to be around a person with a bright and sunny personality. So obviously you'll be more popular and probably leave yourself open to a lot more opportunities in life. So let's go through my points now. My first point is, to be a sunny person, you need to see the good in everything and everyone. So especially focusing on the everyone part, don't badmouth other people. So for you not to badmouth people in the first place, you need to actually start seeing the good in people. So not everyone is going to be the same as you or agree with absolutely everything that you think or that you do. So you just need to kind of accept that people have their differences, but it doesn't mean that the person doesn't have anything to be admired. So what you can do is actually find something good in everyone and focus on that rather than what you don't like. Obviously, everyone is going to have mistakes. There'll be things maybe that irritate you, but the trick is not to focus on those things and really look for something about the person's personality that you can actually admire. And, I'm not just talking about maybe family members or people that, you work with. It could be absolutely anyone that you have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And just another point about this that will possibly help you to look at people in a different way. Even when someone's maybe grumpy or they are snappy, they're rude to you, you kind of need to see beyond that sometimes and think, well, maybe this person's actually going through something. Maybe they're going through an issue at home. Maybe they have some kind of sickness that they haven't told you about, and they are actually going through something really difficult, and that's why they kind of take it out on people. But that's just another thing to think about. My second point to being a sunnier person is not to complain. Now, I have spoken about this quite recently on the show, but there are people that complain about absolutely everything, from the weather to their job to their cat. Everything is an issue. And for me personally, I have this thing now where if I find myself complaining about anything in particular, anything at all, even if it's something small, I turn it around. So for example, I've got so much work to do, but then I say to myself, but at least I'm trusted in this position and I love my job. So you can always turn that complaint around. And the problem is a lot of people just verbalize everything all the time, whatever they're thinking. I have this problem sometimes, whatever they're thinking, it just comes out. So, and people find it irritating, especially when you're always complaining about something or someone. Now let's go to my third point to being a sunnier person, is to expect things to go well. Now, most psychologists actually say that you can learn to become a more positive person. So even if you're naturally quite negative, you can actually change this behavior. So when you're faced with a difficult situation, think of all the different possible outcomes and then focus on the most positive, the most favorable one. And my fourth point is, which is very easy to do, is to smile. So be pleasant to everyone around you. Maybe don't take things out on others. So sometimes when a person is in a bad mood, or if they are, even if they have a headache or something like that, it's like they feel it gives them the right to be grumpy, for everyone, they expect everyone to understand what they're going through. Well, actually, your headache or your issue that you're going through isn't really anyone else's problem. You need to deal with that, but not take it out on other people. It's not their fault that you're going through certain things. So even though you might be going through a difficult time, or maybe you're having a bad day, there's no reason why you shouldn't smile at people and just be civil to them and be polite. And my fifth point to being a sunnier person is to be creative. So bright and sunny people are often quite creative, and that actually makes them seem more colourful and interesting to others. So maybe you don't have a creative hobby, but you can think about the things maybe that you used to do as a child and start doing those things again and having fun. And that actually takes me on to my sixth point, which is to have a laugh. So humour is so very important. And as I've said before on the show, when I'm going through a tough time, I actually end up laughing about things. I just feel like I know this is going to sound a bit weird, but it just makes me feel better to laugh. And this is something that me and my husband do all the time. If there's something going on, it's something quite negative, even if it's something between the two of us, we're having maybe a little argument about something, we just end up laughing because we just like to put humour in everything, and it just makes everything better, and you're more pleasant to be around if you can have a laugh about things, even when things are quite serious. And my last point, to being a sunnier person, is to take care of yourself. So if you are not taking care of your health, if you're not eating the right things, if you're not giving your body the exercise that it needs, of course you're going to feel quite lethargic, you're going to feel quite grumpy. As automatically, as soon as you start eating well and doing your exercise, you will feel more energetic, more positive about things. So make sure you do give yourself that love that you deserve. So before we go, we do actually have, as I promised you before, a beauty juice that is great for your skin, but incidentally is great for your whole body and will actually lead you to looking better and feeling better. So let's go to Hannah Richards.
Hello and welcome to Hannah's Kitchen. Today I'm going to do some juicing. I'm going to make a beauty shot, which is going to heal your body from the inside out. So I'm going to use a few ingredients. This is turmeric root, great for inflammation. Some ginger root, which is great for digestion. And if your body's digesting, then it's absorbing all the food as well. So it's going to make your skin look really vibrant and it's going to glow. Then I'm going to use some lemons, which are really high in vitamin C. They're going to give us the liquid. I'm going to use some honey and some gelatin, which is going to boost your collagen, again making your skin look lovely and plump. So let's start. So you're going to take some turmeric and your ginger, going to break off about that much, and we're going to put it straight through the machine. Okay, so once you've juiced the turmeric and the ginger, you can see that bright colour, that's the turmeric coming through. Then cut the lemon in half to squeeze. Now just make sure you don't get the pips, and a good trick for that is just squeezing over your hand so your fingers become the sieve, and hopefully they should catch the pips. So I'm just going to pour that into a bowl there, easier to mix. I'm going to take 1 teaspoon of gelatin powder, which is going to boost your collagen production, and that'll just mix in. Now this is the type of gelatin that doesn't set, so you don't have to worry about it turning into a jelly-like structure. And then I'm going to give a good squirt of honey. Honey's got some amazing properties for anti-aging, antibacterial, and it also gives it that sweetness, because lemon, ginger and turmeric all together can be quite tart. So it needs to have a nice taste to it, so it's palatable and that you're going to drink it again. And you can taste it as you go, because if it is too tart, then it's not going to be drinkable because of the power of the ginger. So once it's all mixed, pour it into a little glass or a shot glass and have it every morning for vibrant looking skin from beauty within. Gorgeous.
Thank you very much, Hannah. So just to finish, maybe you are not a sunny person whatsoever, and maybe you are going through some problems at the moment that make you feel quite down, so you feel like it might be fake to just laugh or to smile or to, to try and do any of the points that I've mentioned. So why not, in that case, address the issues that you are going through. Now, I don't know if you've already spoken to someone, but if you haven't spoken to someone, do that as a first port of call. It's very, very important if you need to go and see your GP about anything. But, it's never, ever too late for you. You can always change. You don't have to be the person that you are today. If you're not happy with that person, you can improve, you can get better, you can solve all your issues and live the happy life that you deserve. All right, guys, so we have reached the end of today's program. So I do hope it's been beneficial to you, both for the physical aspects and also the mental aspects that we've spoken about today. Now, if you have a story that you would like to share on this program, don't forget you can get in touch with us via the website chrissybshow.tv. You can also tweet us at Chrissy B Show or leave a message on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. And if you want to know more about me and how I overcame depression and panic attacks and all sorts of other mental health issues, you can visit my personal website, mylifeafterdepression.com. Until next time, bye-bye for now.
Always great fun coming on The Chrissy B Show. Chris is a great presenter, very supportive, particularly when some guests may forget to bring things in that they promised to bring, i.e. me. And of course we get to raise awareness of all the important health issues, not just from a physical perspective, but from an emotional perspective as well. And that's something that's often forgotten about, which we try and sort out. So thank you.
Thank you very much for inviting me again. I'm delighted to come and help with awareness about sun protection and skin cancers. Thank you.
So if you're not a sunny person, I would say maybe some of the points, it's always very good to laugh and to pull yourself together, Chris, or pull yourself together and think, can I start again? I was just terrible. I'm so sorry. I don't know where I was going with that one. To find out about some signs and symptoms that there may be a problem with your skin and skin cancer developing. Can I start again, please? Do you use sunscreen?
I don't.
Do you use sunscreen? What about over here? Do you use sunscreen? My guests today include our very own Dr. Rob Hicks, who will be talking about safety in the sun and has not brought in a few items to illustrate his points. Sorry, Rob. But if it's overdone, it can lead to all sorts of discomfort and medical issues such as, But first, let's go to our Dr. Rob. Oh my God, it wasn't even there. Okay. We have a beauty juice that is great for your skin with Hannah Richards and makeup artist